In her annual New Year's Eve address, current Danish Queen Margrethe II announced that she would abdicate the throne in 2024. She stated, "I have decided that now is the right time. On the 14th of January 2024, 52 years after I succeeded my beloved father, I will step down as Queen of Denmark. I will hand over the throne to my son, Crown Prince Frederik." The announcement made on live television came as a surprise for the Danish people and the world. Initially, Margrethe II never intended to abdicate the throne. In an interview back in 2012, which she made during the 40-year jubilee, she said, "In my eyes, it's part of the position that you have when you inherit a monarchy. It is a task you have handed down to you and that you will keep as long as you live, the way my father did and my grandfather before him." 4 years later, she underlined that statement once again, saying, "In this country, we haven't gone in for that way of handing over. It's always been, you stay as long as you live. That's what my father did and my predecessors, and the way I see it too." Margrethe most likely made this huge decision due to her declining health. In February 2023, she had to undergo an extensive back surgery. Prior to that, it is said that the now 83-year-old queen smoked up to 60 cigarettes each day. It is said that nobody was aware of the queen's plans to abdicate. The only exceptions here are the Danish Prime Minister, the King of Sweden, who is her first cousin, and a few other people. Although this came as a shock, Margrethe is not the first Danish monarch to voluntarily abdicate the throne. The first to do so was King Erik III Lamb back in 1146. Nevertheless, there is no tradition of abdication in Denmark. The Act of Succession just assumes that the same provision applies as if the monarch dies. Margrethe will pass on the throne to her son, Crown Prince Frederik, on January 14, 2024, ending her exactly 52-year-long reign. She had come to the throne back in 1972 when her father, King Frederik IX, died unexpectedly. So for the next part of this video, let us focus on Margrethe as a person. Margrethe Alexandrine Thoreldur Ingrid was born on April 16, 1940, during the reign of her grandfather Christian X. Her parents were the then Crown Prince and Princess of Denmark, Frederik and Ingrid. Her mother was a Swedish-born princess and only daughter of the later King Gustav VI Adolf. You might have noticed her third name, Thoreldur. This is an Icelandic name which was given to her as her grandfather was also the King of Iceland at the time of her birth. To close family members and friends, she is known as Daisy. Margrethe has two younger sisters, Benedicte and Anne-Marie, who was the last queen consort of Greece. Shortly after Margrethe's 7th birthday, her father ascended to the throne as King Frederik IX. At the time of his ascension, only males could ascend to the throne. As the king only had daughters, it was assumed that his younger brother, Prince Knud, would succeed him. However, Margrethe's popularity and the more prominent role of women eventually led to the succession laws being changed. On March 27, 1953, the new Act of Succession was passed. Margrethe met her future husband Henry while studying in London. Their engagement was announced in October 1966 and the wedding followed on June 10, 1967. Together they had two sons, Frederik and Joachim. Margrethe and Henry were married for over 50 years until his death in 2018. Margrethe became Queen of Denmark on January 14, 1972, when her father suddenly died. Only weeks earlier, he had delivered his New Year's address to the nation. Margrethe does not take part in politics as a constitutional monarch. Her main task is to represent the Kingdom of Denmark abroad and to be a unifying figure at home. The support for the monarchy in Denmark remains constantly high at around 82%, as does the Queen's personal popularity. Currently, Margrethe is Europe's longest reigning monarch. a record she holds since the death of Queen Elizabeth II. In addition, she is the world's only Queen Regnant and the longest-serving incumbent female head of state. When the Queen will abdicate on Sunday, January 14th, her elder son Frederik will ascend to the Danish throne as Frederik X. During a meeting of the Council of State at Christiansborg Palace at 2 p.m. on that day, she will sign her abdication. 1 hour later, the new monarch Frederik X will be proclaimed king by the Prime Minister on the balcony of Christiansborg Palace. Frederik began a course in political science at Aarhus University in 1986. During this time, he also studied abroad at Harvard University. He completed his Master of Science degree with results above average. He is as such the first Danish royal to complete a university education. Frederik is fluent in Danish, French, English, and German. From 1998 to 1999, Frederik held a position as first secretary to the Danish embassy in Paris. In addition, Frederik completed his military studies and training. Frederik has wide interests ranging from climate change, sustainability, to sports. He is a keen sailor and marathon runner. He competed in marathons in Copenhagen, New York, and Paris, completing the run with a time of 3 hours, 22 minutes, and 50 seconds. Frederik is married to Australian-born Mary Donaldson, whom he met while attending the Sydney Olympics in 2000. On October 8, 2003, Margrethe II gave her consent to the marriage, and the wedding followed on May 14, 2004. Together they have 4 children: Christian, Isabella, Vincent, and Josephine. Upon his expected ascension, Frederik will be known as His Majesty King Frederik X. His wife, Crown Princess Mary, will be styled Her Majesty Queen Mary. Together, the couple will be known as the King and Queen of Denmark. Their eldest son, Christian, will automatically become the Crown Prince of Denmark. Margrethe, by the way, will continue to be styled Her Majesty. Crown Princess Mary will become the first Australian-born person to become Queen Consort of a European monarchy. She was born on February 5, 1972, on the island state of Tasmania, Australia. Her parents, Henrietta and John, are originally from Scotland. Mary has 3 older siblings. She began her education in Texas while her father worked there before returning to Tasmania. Eventually, she studied at a local university from 1990 to 1994, graduating with a combined Bachelor of Commerce and Bachelor of Laws degree. After completing her studies, Mary worked for Australian and global marketing agencies. After meeting Frederik at the Slip-In pub, they began a long-distance relationship. In December 2001, Mary moved to Denmark, where she began learning the language extensively. Upon her marriage to Frederik, Mary received a Danish citizenship and gave up her Australian and British one. Her relationship to Frederik received much media attention back then, and their wedding was portrayed as a modern fairy tale. Since her marriage, Mary carries out engagements on behalf of Margrethe and serves as patron of over 30 charitable organizations.